I never imagined a single slip of the tongue could completely destroy my marriage, but here I am, facing the consequences of the dumbest mistake of my life. My name is Alicia, I'm 32 and I've been married to Ryan for 7 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I always thought our bond was strong enough to withstand anything, until last night proved me terribly wrong. We had planned a quiet evening at home. Ryan had been working late all week, and I wanted to surprise him with a nice dinner and a romantic night together. Candles, soft music, and the kind of intimacy that made us feel like newlyweds again. Everything was perfect, or so I thought. As we settled into bed later that evening, things started off tender and slow. Ryan was focused, gentle, and I could feel the love we shared in every touch. I let myself get lost in the moment, forgetting for just a second the careful boundaries I usually kept. And then, without thinking, without realizing what I was about to do, it happened. I moaned. But not his name. Another man's name slipped past my lips, a name I hadn't even thought about consciously in years, someone from my past. It was barely audible, but Ryan heard it. The silence that followed was deafening. The warmth, the tenderness, the intimacy, all of it evaporated in that single second. Ryan froze. His hands stiffened, and the look in his eyes was something I had never seen before. It wasn't anger, not at first. It was shock, disbelief, and then slowly, a controlled rage that made my stomach knot in fear. I tried to laugh it off, trying to tell myself it was just a slip, a mistake, a meaningless echo from the past, but I could see it in his face. This was different. This was permanent. "Did you just say?" he finally asked, his voice low but tight. I didn't mean it," I stammered, panic rising in my chest. "It was just what, Alicia? Just a joke? Just a mistake?" he interrupted, standing up abruptly. The sudden movement made my heart pound harder. I could feel the distance growing between us, a gap that seemed to widen with every word he didn't say. I tried to reach for him, to touch his arm, to explain, but he pulled away. "No," he said sharply. "Don't." His voice trembled, but it wasn't from weakness. It was controlled, deliberate. I could see the hurt, the betrayal etched deep into his features. I wanted to tell him it wasn't real, that it didn't mean anything, that my love for him hadn't changed. I wanted to convince him that the name I had uttered had no power over our relationship, that it was nothing but a ghost from the past. But every time I opened my mouth, the words sounded hollow, even to me. He walked to the dresser, grabbed his jacket, and stood there for a moment, staring at me like he was seeing me for the first time. And in that look, I realized the truth. This wasn't just about a name. It was about respect. It was about trust. It was about boundaries I had crossed, the kind you can't take back no matter how sorry you are. "I can't do this," he said finally, the calm in his voice more terrifying than any shout or scream could have been. "I can't stay with someone who doesn't respect what we have." I froze. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe. "Ryan, please," I whispered. "I love you. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything." He shook his head, his eyes never leaving mine. "It's not just about that," he said. "It's everything. The jokes, the careless words, the moments I've ignored for years because I believed in us. I can't ignore this." I felt my chest tighten as the weight of his words sank in. All those small things I thought didn't matter suddenly seemed huge. The nights I teased him about his weaknesses, the times I laughed at him in front of friends, the careless remarks I had dismissed as harmless, all of it built up silently, unnoticed, until it exploded in this moment. Before I could stop him, he walked past me, out the door and into the cold night. I wanted to run after him, to beg him to stay, but I couldn't. I sat on the edge of the bed, numb, staring at the empty space where he had been, feeling the crushing reality of what I had done. Hours passed. I sent texts. I called his phone. Nothing. He didn't respond. I felt the panic rising again, the kind that grips you when you realize your life is about to change forever. The morning light offered no comfort. Ryan didn't come home. His side of the bed remained untouched, his coffee cup untouched in the kitchen. Every tick of the clock was a reminder of my mistake. Every shadow in the apartment seemed to whisper his absence. And in that silence, I felt the magnitude of my actions more than I ever had before. I couldn't stop thinking about that one word, that one name, and how it had broken something I had taken for granted for so long. I realized painfully that love alone wasn't enough. Respect mattered. Loyalty mattered. And for the first time, I understood the power of a single careless moment.